So, in order to understand Perek Chaf Mishnah Aleph, we have to go back just to the beginning of Perek 19. And if you remember that we have a disagreement between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva when it comes to the making of things on Shabbat for the purpose of a Brit. Rabbi Eliezer says you can do whatever you want. You can chop wood to make coals, to make this, to make that, to make that, to make the knife, to make this. He goes all the way back. Yeah, you can do whatever. Rabbi Akiva says no, whatever you could have done from before Shabbat, you should have done before Shabbat. You're not allowed to do anything. So it's the same machloket going to be over here also now when it comes to Yom Tov. In other words, I'll give you an example. On Yom Tov you're allowed to cook, right? So what am I allowed to do? I'm allowed to go into the field and harvest and take the wheat and grind it and How much back am I allowed to go? That's the question. Well, I'm allowed to go start making the holes in the ground and sowing and doing all the melachot that you're not allowed to do. There's a limit until even Rabbi Eliezer will say that you're allowed to do.
This is like, in a way, it's like the brit, that you have to prepare something for.
That's right. But over here, Rabbi Eliezer will not be able to go lots of steps backwards. He's going to go not so many steps backwards.
If he doesn't have the magal, maybe he can make it in Yom Tov, so he can cut it. Then, like the other guy doesn't have the knife.
Yeah, but he cannot put on fire, for example. He's not going to go a lot backwards. It just tells you how much backwards he's going to go. We'll see soon. So, Perek 20, Mishnah Aleph. But over there, Shabbos is pushed off completely. Over here, you're not going to push it off completely. It's going to be deliberative. You'll see. Bi'ur Mishnah Aleph. Yom Tov, Asur bechol melechet avodah. Yom Tov is not allowed to do any kind of work, just like Shabbat. Chutz memelacha shel tzorech achila, except types of work that is for eating. Like it says, tzorech ochel nefesh. Things that you need for eating, one allowed to do cooking. Shene'emar says, how do you know this? Where does it say that Yom Tov is different than Shabbat? It says, Ach asher yochal, only that would be eaten, lechol nefesh, to every soul, hu levado ya'aseh lachem. That by itself you should be done to you.
In other words, if you cook and you don't eat it, you can't do it.
That's right. That's right. It's in order for eating. In order for you cannot do hides, for example, cook hides, because it's not food. Mishnatenu dana b'machshirei ochel nefesh. Our Mishnah is going to do with preparation of the food. She'efshar la'asotam erev Yom Tov, that one is capable of doing this from before Yom Tov. Im mutar la'asot b'Yom Tov. If those things you're allowed to do them on Yom Tov. V'nechleku b'ze Rabbi Eliezer v'chachamim. And there's going to be a disagreement between Rabbi Eliezer and the sages. Keshem shenechleku b'perek kodem Mishnah Aleph machshirei b'nei Shabbat. Just the same disagreement that they have about Shabbos, they have about Yom Tov. So let's see. Rabbi Eliezer says, Tolin et hameshameret. You're allowed to hang the sieve. Meshameret is a type of sieve. Hamesanenet, it's a sieve. Shemesanenim ba shimrei yain. That you sieve in it the remainders of wine. You see, today people are spoiled, not like in the old days. In the old days, the wine wouldn't be so clear like in today. It will have particles in it, have all kinds of things. So the wine is also, so you will have to sieve the wine to take out all the bad particles. Not like today. Today it's like everything is clear. It's been sieved 100 times. In the old time, they would make it at home. Yeah. So what do? Tolimo motchim ota ala kli. You take a sieve, like a bit of cloth. That's how you stretch it on a vessel, כדי לסנן לתוכו יין זך וצלול, in order to pour into it, that you want clear wine, and you're allowed to do it b'Yom Tov. You're allowed to do it b'Yom Tov. Why shouldn't you allowed to do it on Yom Tov? A lot of reasons, but his concern is, אף על פי שיש בזה משום עשיית אוהל על הכלי. Says you making a new vessel. There was a jug, there was a sieve, and now you're making a mesanenet, you're making a new vessel. It's like you're making a tent, you're making a new thing. It says, mutar b'Yom Tov, you're allowed to make this instrument on Yom Tov, שסובר רבי אליעזר, because רבי אליעזר, his idea, מכשירי אוכל נפש, אף שאפשר לעשות מערב יום טוב. It says, even though you could have done this in ערב יום טוב, this vessel, מותר לעשותם ביום טוב. You're allowed to do such a vessel on יום טוב, and it's fine. You're good. ונותנין, if you notice, it doesn't, our first question is, okay, maybe you're allowed to do it from oil, but what about borer? What about sieving? Sieving is not allowed in Yom Tov. Sieving is not allowed to do. So it says something very interesting. ונותנים לתלויה בשבת, and you're allowed to put it in such an instrument on Shabbat itself. And in other words, you don't have to worry about borer on Shabbat.
On Shabbos. Now he's talking about Shabbos. He's not talking about Yom Tov anymore.
That's right. On Yom Tov, you're allowed to make the vessel. If the vessel is made, you're allowed to use it on Shabbos.
Okay.
Yeah, you're allowed to use it on Shabbos. And what about the question, you're not allowed to be boirer, you're not allowed to sieve on Shabbat? You're not allowed to take bad from the good or good from the bad on Shabbat? Separate. כלומר, שבשבת אסור לתלות לכתחילה. says on Shabbat itself, Rabbi Eliezer says you're not allowed to put it לכתחילה, אתה משמר את על הכלי. משום עשיית אוהל, because it's considered to be making a tent, making a structure. אבל אם היא תלויה מערב שבת, but if it is there from before שבת, מותר לתת השמרים לתוכה בשבת. You're allowed to give the residue and to pour into it on Shabbat. ואינו כבורר בשבת. It's not considered to be boirer on Shabbos. I'm going to explain soon why, because I don't think he explains it well. משום שאין זו דרך ברירה. Because this is not called sieving. Now, the question is, what is sieving? So, general rule, sieving is if the what you're eating cannot be eaten, and you sieve it in order to be able to eat it. For example, you have something which is mud, I don't know if it is, something you cannot eat, it's too bitter, and you sieve it, it becomes sweet. Then you're allowed to. But over here it says it was wine before, it was thick wine, and now it was, you could drink it before, and now you can also drink it. It's the same wine, just a little bit less, you're allowed to. I'll give you an example that we do today, that everybody sieves today, and there's no problem. Did you ever use Brita on Shabbat? The water filter.
Oh, water filter.
Water filter on Shabbat. It says, why are you allowed to use it? Why are you allowed to use water filters on Shabbat? Because it's water before, water after. I mean, yes, it tastes different from before and to after, but it's water. Water remains water.
It says different, but okay.
No, it does. Especially the Tucson, the water in Tucson tastes completely different. You can know immediately. Okay. Yeah. So, but the reason why you're allowed to is because of this. What it says, it's water before, water after, a little bit different. So the wine before, wine after, it's also. This is why it's not called real boirer.
So if I have orange juice and I want to screen it.
Very good. You have the thick. You have the thick orange juice.
Pieces in there, and I like it.
Yeah, so it looks like you'll be allowed to do that.
If it's everything ready and you just pour it in.
Mm-hmm.
Not to prepare on Shabbos.
Yeah, you can run it.
Yom Tov, you can prepare it even.
That's right, the preparation. That's very good. Again, we're not learning halacha. We're not learning halacha, but that's from the Mishnah. Yeah. וחכמים אומרים, and the sages says, אין תולים את המשמרת ביום טוב. The sages says, don't do it on you. If you can do it from before Yom Tov, what are you doing it on Yom Tov? שמכשירי אוכל נפש, אפשר לעשותם ערב יום טוב. It says, if you could have done it from before Yom Tov, אסור לעשותם ביום טוב. You're not allowed to make them on Yom Tov. וכיוון שדומה לעושה אוהל, it's similar to stretching a tent, אסור ביום טוב. ואין נותנים לתלויה בשבת. The sage says, and you're not going to be allowed to sieve this wine on Shabbat. אפילו כשהמשמרת תלויה מערב שבת. Even when the משמרת is hanging from before Shabbat, it's there, אסור לתת לתוכה את השמרים לסינון. You're not allowed to put the kinds of residue in to make it clear. היינו, שלדעת חכמים אף מלוזכה זו היא תולדת ברירה או הרכדה. So the Chachamim says, maybe you're not obligated d'oraisa, but since it was thick orange juice and then thin orange juice, whatever you want to call it, or thick wine and then thin wine, it changes. You're right. It's not, you're not transgressing against God, but we don't allow you to do it because it's a tolda. Yeah. Or maybe even Tolda, maybe is even against God. Toldat Brera, maybe they're saying it is a Tolda. It is even the Oraisa. They might even actually say it.
Harkada, מה זה harkada?
Harkada is when you have, today we don't, actually we do in some things, the women do it, I don't know what to do it for. You have some kind of grain, for example, and you put it in a sieve, that's right, and you go like this, and it, and you, kemach, maybe flour they used to do it, or some other stuff, this is called, so the thin stuff flies away, the thick stuff stays in the bottom, you're separating, אבל נותנים לתלויה ביום טוב, but they agree, the sages agree that if you have one prepared, you're allowed to sieve on Yom Tov. Again, it's not a problem with food, because you have to prepare food. אם המשמרת תלויה על הכלי, if the sieve is hanging on a vessel, מערב יום טוב, from before יום טוב, מותר לתת תשלומים לתוכה ביום טוב, you're allowed to give the remainder into it on יום טוב, שהוא הועיל וצורך אוכל נפש, since you're dealing with food, like we mentioned, מותר לעשותו ביום טוב, you're allowed to make it on יום טוב, והלכה כחכמים. And the halacha is like the sages.
If you can do it before, then do it before.
Yeah, that's right. In other words,
you have to do it before.
Yeah.
You can't do it on Yom Tov.
On Yom Tov itself.